Hello and welcome to Inspiria Gyan Series. I am Taqi Heather. In this podcast series, we will inform the audience about different education fields and the career options involved in that field of study. In our studio, we have a very special guest with us. He is Sharon Chandi from BBA department from our own college, Inspiria Knowledge Campus. He has 9 years of working experience, and today he is going to enlighten us on my favorite topic, that is entrepreneurship. To be precise, the topic of the discussion would be entrepreneurship as a career. Welcome to the Inspiria Gyan series, sir.
Thank you, sir.
It's a pleasure to have you on my show. So, my first question to you is, can you explain to our audience about entrepreneurship in a simple language?
So, simply put, entrepreneurship is nothing but coming up with an innovative idea and converting that idea into a business. And reaping the dividends out of that business is all that is entrepreneurship.
Okay. Can you give me some examples so that our audience can understand in a simple way?
Sure. So, like for example, when Paytm started by Vijay Shekhar
Yeah.
Sharma, long time back. So, at that time, it was just a tool to make online payments.
That's right.
And it was quite unheard of at
Yeah.
that point in time.
Yeah.
But today you see that with the lockdown and the pandemic happened, how much the digital transactions have multiplied.
That's right.
And the utility of such companies like Paytm, which though small, but then the utility of these companies in our daily life is increasing manifold.
That's right.
And so this is an example where a small idea can be converted into a business
Yeah.
and which can scale up and not only give dividends to the founders and the members
Yeah.
of the organization, but to the society at large.
That's right. And I just wanted to take the name of Ritesh Agarwal as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, he did a commendable job.
Yes.
Can you enlighten our audience about him as well?
So Ritesh was just 17 or 18 years old
Yeah.
when he started Oyo Rooms.
Yeah.
So he started with an idea
Yeah.
that why not give affordable rooms at affordable prices.
That's right.
And therefore he came up with a new solution to this whole hotel industry.
Yeah.
And that is that anybody who has a room
Yeah.
can put it on the website of Oyo. And the guests can view this website. And what Ritesh was promising, that you will get free Wi-Fi, you will have hot water, you will have clean linen,
Yeah.
and you will have complete 24-hour check-in, check-out. So these four things were the primary that were the guests were looking at.
That's right.
And that is how Oyo started to strike that chord with the customers. And today it's a multi-million-dollar company.
That's right.
So that's been the journey of Ritesh Agarwal again.
Yeah. So, talking about startup, we have a scheme called Startup India. I just wanted to know, Startup India initiative, how people can get benefit from this scheme.
So it is very simple. It's a pilot scheme of the government of India, which is called the Startup India, as you rightly pointed out.
Yeah.
So under this scheme, if you are a startup, you have to register yourselves with the government. And if the government criteria are fulfilled by you, you are eligible to get the seed funding. So I'm happy to also let you know that almost 50,000 startups in India are registered with Startup India scheme.
Okay.
And the government has a 10,000 crore rupees seed fund available with them,
Okay.
which is ready for distribution.
Very
So it is called the fund of the funds.
Yeah.
So the government is planning to build an ecosystem that helps the startups.
Yeah.
Now, what do I mean by ecosystem is primarily you must have the sufficient funding that is possible. Secondly, you must have sufficient mentorship and guidance, and for which the government is encouraging
Yeah.
the setting up of incubation centers in
Yeah.
different colleges and universities, like the Atal Incubation
Yeah.
Center is a good
Yeah.
example of that. And also the government is encouraging the filing of IP, intellectual property rights.
That's right.
So that the innovative ideas that these startups have, they can be patented and it can be monetized in the days to come. So Startup India is a flagship
Yeah.
program of the government which encompasses all these aspects.
Okay. Very nice. Talking about Startup India, I just wanted to know from different point of view that what do you think, what is the future of entrepreneurship in our country, in India?
So after the year 2000, and the dot-com bubble before
Yeah.
that, there have been many internet companies and the IT companies that came about in the late 80s and early
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah.
But then it was kind of a flash in a pan.
Yeah.
And this whole idea of entrepreneurship soon died down. But then now again we are seeing a revival and green shoots, especially with the onset of the pandemic, and we have seen that so many startups have now come in large numbers.
That's right.
Because people have now also realized that probably they are not cut out for the 9 to 5 job and the stress of the corporate industry, and they are following their passion actually, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
So these young educated youth,
Yeah.
now they have dreams.
Yeah.
Dreams to set up their own companies. And we also see, as you rightly pointed out, the Startup India ecosystem is now building up and supporting this new generation of entrepreneurship who are rising.
Yeah.
And so the government support added to the demographic youth dividend that we have in our country. So they both are having a sort of a healthy mix now.
Okay.
And we are seeing that these companies and startups are now taking roots. And as you know that we have the standoff with China.
Yeah.
And we are also gone ahead and banned some imports from China.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is indirectly helping the startups.
Yeah.
And the Atmanirbhar program of the government.
Yeah.
So this is also adding some kind of an impetus to develop that startup ecosystem
Yeah.
in various sectors of the economy today.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. My next question to you is very important, and it is very important from student point of view. What tips you would like to give to our students, and if they are interested in entrepreneurship? I know, many of our student and the youngsters, they think that in entrepreneurship is very cool, right? So what tips? Because it's a tough journey.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
what tips you would like to give to them?
So my guidance would be 3-point. The first thing is that you have to scan a lot of ideas. So for that you will have to read widely.
Yeah.
And regularly go through the successful and the failure stories of other startups.
Yeah.
So that should be the primary motive. You have to read widely, scan a wide source of information. Secondly, don't hesitate to experiment.
Yeah.
So if you experiment, you might be successful, you might be unsuccessful.
Yeah.
But then the learning experience that it gives is something phenomenal, which no amount of theory can teach you. And the third thing, start early. So while you are doing your graduation or your post-graduation, why don't you get associated with an incubation program? And why don't you start vetting your ideas with mentors and experts? So who knows, this same idea, this small nascent business plan that you have may tomorrow grow manifold and it can become a successful enterprise. So summarizing, you should scan your environment as thoroughly and as widely as possible. Never hesitate to experiment. And third, start early while you are in college, or it can be school also.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one point here. I know you must be agree with my point that one should have a mentor as well, so that you talk to your mentor and he or she will give you feedback, which is very important. A mentor from the industry can play a very important role. What do you think on this?
Absolutely. There are no two ways about it. Actually, because our youngsters, they have dreams and they are creative. But then to convert this creativity into innovation and to convert that innovation into a successful business venture, it
Yeah.
needs some sort of a guidance. Because there may be many roadblocks that the youngsters may feel.
Yeah.
But the mentors have gone through those things before and they are ably equipped to guide these youngsters.
Yeah, very rightly said. With this, I'm going to ask you my next question: that how can student approach entrepreneurship in a systematic manner?
So more or less, I will reiterate what I just said.
Yeah.
So primarily, you have to look at entrepreneurship as a serious career option. So I think in India, we are lacking that.
Yeah.
And slowly, I am sure that that feeling is also changing and that notion is changing that, I have to go for a 9 to 5 job. But then the serious individuals now need to think entrepreneurship as a serious career option. That's number one.
Yeah.
Secondly, they must not hesitate to try out their innovative idea. and they should try and take some feedback on it.
That's right.
And they should try to get this their startup to up to some kind of a customer feedback also should be factored in, and they must try to reach to the market and systematically scale up their idea. So three things again: you should scan the environment. Second, take some feedback from your mentors and seniors. And third, take feedback from customers, which are the ones who are going to make or break your idea. So these three primary important criteria must be considered to approach systematically towards entrepreneurship.
Yeah, that's right. And I just wanted to take your point of view on this. Do you believe that we have a job mindset and we are lacking somewhere because of this mindset?
Yes, I think that is primary the human nature, to sit back and relax and to be in your comfort zones. And culturally also this has been the case in our country, more or less. Like many countries like US, Israel has progressed a lot because they have the entrepreneurial mindset. So in India, through our pedagogy, through the experience of our successful entrepreneurship, we are slowly changing. But then the important point to emphasize here is that we need to have that entrepreneurial mindset. So which is very critical to scale up your business, and also to keep scanning the environment for better and better ideas and to improvise your already existing ideas. So this is very important.
Okay. So what you are saying that if we want to become a developed nation, we have to produce more and more entrepreneurs?
Yes, absolutely. That is what the primary aim of the government of India is, to be a $5 trillion economy. And this is not possible through the kind of ecosystem that we already have been having. And with that, if we keep progressing at say even 7 to 10% rate of GDP, we won't become a $5 trillion economy by 2025. So the dream of our Prime Minister Modi is also something aligned to this, and that's why we are promoting the entrepreneurial mindset and the skill set so much.
Okay. With this, I'm going to ask the last question, last but not the least. What would be the role of the parents whose kids want to take up entrepreneurship in future?
So my advice and my suggestion to our parents community is something which is like to guide your children to take up something entrepreneurial, very early in their career.
Yeah.
Now, primarily because if they set into something like a job, then they may not take the risk again in life to come back to entrepreneurship. So they should help the youngsters to make the right decisions, number one. And if they are taking entrepreneurship as a career, they must support them rather than discourage them, and also encourage them to have something entrepreneurial and also do your studies also parallelly. So this kind of a mindset needs to be built into our parents community also, because we see that parents are sometimes very insecure when it comes to their wards taking up entrepreneurship.
That's right. And I just wanted to mention one thing here, that yes, our parents have a job mindset and they want us to work 9 to 5. Whenever you talk about your business ideas, they will say, no, please go and do your job, because we don't have a business mindset and you can't be an entrepreneur, right? This is one of the factors. But what I believe, that slowly and gradually, when you see stories like Ritesh Agarwal and the many other stories, success stories, so this will change, but it will take time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Slowly and gradually.
Absolutely. And I'm quite optimistic that it is changing.
Yeah.
And only thing that we will have to have sufficient number of entrepreneurs come into the ecosystem, mentor the other youngsters who are coming up, hold their hands, encourage them, and probably we will see that full ecosystem is working in tandem to make India the $5 trillion economy.
Definitely. So on this note, I would like to end the podcast. Thank you very much, Sharon Chandi sir,
Thank you very much,
for
sir.
giving your precious time and enlightened us on entrepreneurship. So that's it from today's podcast. In next podcast, we will meet some other big personality. Till then, please take care of yourself. Goodbye.